Greetings everybody, this is Emily from Pages in Ink, and today, if you didn't notice by the title above my head, this is my series discussion on The Darkest Minds series by Alexandra Bracken, which is one of my favorite book series ever. But I will get into that eventually. Before I start my video, or the actual topic of the video, I want to say a few things to you guys. The first is hopefully I will be using some new video editing software, so my videos will be better. You probably won't even notice, but I thought I would tell you anyway. The second thing I want to tell you is that I'm really sorry I haven't been posting a whole lot of videos the past few months. I'm going to try to post more. My problem is that sometimes I can't think of things to do and I wait for tag videos, and then there aren't that many tag videos that I want to do, so it kind of puts me where I pretty much only have like book talks, which I'm going to start doing again after, actually not after, well yes, after I finish the book that I'm currently reading, which I will tell you about after I finish this. I will get back into book talks. I'm going to try very hard to make more videos for you guys, because that's the whole point that I made this. Well, not necessarily for you guys, but for me. But it's also for you guys. And, yeah. So, the final thing I want to talk about is right after this I'm going to be shooting another video. That's going to be like a makeover of my bookshelf, but what it really is kind of like you getting to see how I organize my bookshelf, which I actually need to figure out how I'm going to do it this time, because I've gotten quite a few books since the last time I organized my bookshelf, and I'm actually pretty much running out of room. I managed to have a little more space here, so hopefully I can figure out how to fit some more. I really need another bookshelf, and I also have some lights that I'm going to put up on it. I had lights originally. If you've seen my videos, you know that. But these are just like some simple white lights just to kind of make it look nice. I had some orange ones from Halloween that I liked, but they didn't work as well in my mind. That, and they only stretched a certain amount. So hopefully these will stretch further. If not, maybe I'll just connect the two and call it even. So those are my little announcement tidbit messages I wanted to give you guys, and now we'll get into the series discussion. So, The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken is one of my favorite book series of all time. How I ran into this series was I was in a reading slump, I guess. I wasn't really all that into reading novels, but I was trying to read more. I just didn't see very many books at the library that I wanted to read. I was more of in a manga phase. So I read a whole bunch of manga, and I read like the same series repeatedly because it was that good, kind of manga reading, however you want to pronounce it. So we were in downtown, and there's this massive library downtown, and we had been there for like a marketplace on Mother's Day kind of thing. So on our way home, we decided to stop at the library because it's still the same library system as the one near my house, so I could return the books there. So we went in, and I was looking around all the books, and then I found The Darkest Minds, the very first one, this one. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting symbol. And I read the thing, and I was like, alright, this looks good. So I picked it up, and I brought it home, and I actually requested the second one to be sent to me, and it actually came pretty soon after, which was weird. So I had finished it, and I had Never Fade to read. And I was sitting there like, I don't even know if I want to read Never Fade, because the end of this book will break your heart. It's not really a spoiler, it's just how Alexandra Bracken works. I'm terrified for Passenger, because something bad is going to happen to my heart. I know it. So I went to talk to my mom. My mom's like, you're being ridiculous, just go read the book. And I was like, alright, I'll read the book. So, then I read Never Fade. And it's been 2 years, I think, since I read both of these books. And now I have finally read In the Afterlight, which came out last year, I believe. And I also have Through the Dark, which is a novella collection. I've also read the two of the 3 novellas that are in this book previously. And I didn't reread them this time just because I really wanted to get to Passenger, which is what I'm currently reading. And then the other books that I have to read, because I still have like 6 library books I need to read. I have like a whole pile of books right next to me here that I need to read. 4 of them are from my boyfriend for Christmas. And then 1 is from Owl Crate, and 2 I have bought. And then 1 of them I've actually already read, but that's not the point. So I read Beyond the Night, which is the last one, and I will find the page for you. And in this video, I will do a brief description of each book right before I talk about them, and I'm going to loosely talk about them, and then I'm going to get in depth as I can really get, because I don't even think I have book talks for these. I read them like the end of 2014, and I started this channel early 2015. So, yeah, don't even think you guys know my thoughts, so now you will. Oh, I meant to get the thing. I'm sorry. I'm easily distracted, if you never can tell. Alright. Beyond the Night. And no, this book doesn't look nearly as gorgeous undressed as Passenger does. Although, in the Afterlight, and I love it when authors do this, or book design people, whatevers. In the final books, they have started doing things like this. Putting images on the inside of the covers, and I love it. Because it's like that in Clockwork Princess and City of Heavenly Fire. So keep doing it, because I enjoy it. Really hope Raven King is going to have something interesting on the inside, because if you haven't seen Maggie Stiefvater's artwork, you need to prioritize your life. Anyway. So, The Darkest Minds. The very first book pretty much sets the entire series. If you don't know anything at all about this series, I will now tell you about the series. It concentrates on the journey of a girl named Ruby Elizabeth Daly, and I don't think you needed to know her full name, but I told you anyway, who lives in this world where 95% of America's children have been killed by a disease called idiopathic adolescent acute neurodegeneration, IAAN. And what happens is a lot of kids are just falling over dead. Like their brains, I think, pretty much shut off. And those, the 5% that do not, have mental abilities. And that's the way I like to describe them. Because some people say powers, some say abilities, but all of them have to do with their mind and how they control things. And they're classified into 4 different colors. There's red, orange, okay, there's 5 colors. I can't count. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue. No purple. No purple. And in a way, it's classified by danger, because red is pyrokinesis, the ability to control fire. Orange is mind control, or the ability to insert thoughts or feelings and bend the person's will to the mind controller's actions. That probably wasn't a good way to explain it, but that's the best I got. Yellow is electrokinesis, which is the controlling of the electricity, which they actually do some pretty cool things in these books with electricity. You don't see it very often, though. Green, which is interesting that green comes before blue, because green is intelligence. It's like a increased intelligence. These people can decode codes. They have photographic memory, photo memory. They can build things. They can do a whole bunch of things with their mind that they couldn't do before, which can make them dangerous. But compared to the others, their danger is more with what they can do on their own and less of what power lends a hand to. So their stuff is more defense behind the scenes kind of thing, and everybody else, blue, has telekinesis, which is a power that I greatly want. But they can all manipulate matter. whereas greens manipulate data. I guess is the best way of putting it. So, you know, unless they mess with the matrix that is life, they're not going to be able to hurt anybody with their power, which is, you know, why they should be blue and not green. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. I don't really know if that's how they're classified or if it's just kind of attributed to their abilities. I don't know. She doesn't explain that part. But anyway, so Ruby is in the biggest, most, like, hellhole-ish camp. They have rehabilitation camps that they're sent to. And Ruby's is the biggest and baddest, and it's called Thurmond, and it's located, I believe, in West Virginia. West Virginia. And, she is an orange and hiding in green. Excuse me, sorry. Like in a green cabin. When they were organizing them, she convinced the scientist organizing her that she was a green, using her abilities that she didn't really know that she had at the time. Well, she knew, but she didn't know how to use them, I guess is the best way of saying it. She helps to get out of the camp by a group called the Children's League, who say that they're around to help kids, but they're, in a way, using the kids and their abilities for their own agenda, which isn't completely bad, because their own agenda is to help the kids, in a way, but it just may not be the best way. She ends up running from them and running into 3 other kids. They're called Psi, P-S-I, which is, you know, Psi symbol, named Chubbs, she's Ruby, Chubbs, or Charles, Liam, and Suzume, or Zoo. And she follows them in search, and this is in the first book now, she follows them in search of a place called East River, which is kind of like the Psi safe haven. And she hopes to talk to the leader of that safe haven, known as the Skip Kid, and seeing if he can help her control her powers, because there's a rumor that he is also orange, and there aren't very many oranges around. And B, hopefully she can get home to her grandmother, because her parents do not want her for a reason that is discussed in the book. It's a great, great series, and I really enjoy it. It's so good. Alright, so that is the sugar-coated, non-spoiler thing for The Darkest Minds, and I will get into the the more spoilery-ish parts. Maybe. My problem is when I get to talking about the series, I try to intentionally avoid spoiler. And then once I get to the part where I actually talk about spoilers, it's like I don't really have anything else to talk about, because I've already kind of discussed everything without really going into too much detail, which, you know, isn't really needed. So I guess I will just do my usual ramblings and see where that gets me. So one of my favorite things about this series is, and this is really weird for me, and if you haven't seen my buzzword video from last week, one of my favorite book series genres is hell that makes me want to live there. I don't know. I really, really don't. I guess it's because my life is boring to me, but that shouldn't be a reason. Because these places are awful. In the Darkest Minds series, the economy has collapsed, or they're trying to make a living in their house that they still live in. Most of these houses are foreclosed on. So I really enjoy how, you know, these places that they go to, there's nowhere really all that specific besides like town names, because I don't know if some of the places they actually stop are actual places. They could be. But, I just like how real they feel, is my point. And I also really like the characters. Every character has some backstory that makes you want to root for them. Except Clancy, but that's for a different reason. You know, I love Suzume. Chubbs is my absolute favorite. If I had a friend that was Chubbs, I would be set in my life. I don't think I'd need another friend. No, I'm kidding. But Chubbs is the witty, sarcastic smartass of the group, and he's just fantastic. He tries to be the voice of reason, but sometimes his reasoning isn't really sound, so it's not best to listen to him. But he's trying to protect the people that he cares about. Suzume is a quiet little girl, and I say quiet because she's pretty much mute. She doesn't say anything. But she's very expressive with her body and her face, and she's very sassy because of that. But she loves the color pink, and she wears rubber gloves because she's a yellow, and she doesn't want to hurt anybody. Then Lee is the gorgeous, blue-eyed southern boy who is the leader of the group and who kind of is trying to be an optimist and put a bright side on everything so they can get to where they're going and not feel like crap. But he's got like not terrible past, but his past is not a happy one. Up to a certain point and then past a certain point. So there's like this chunk that's good, but the rest of it's kind of black area. Then there's Clancy, who at first I honest to God thought, and you're supposed to think this, but everybody else I talked to was like, he's a creep, what are you talking about? I honest to God thought that he was actually into her and trying to help her, but in the end he was using her, and I was like, granted, this was 2 years ago, so this isn't now reaction, but I was like, why? Just, why are you so awful? And yes, he is creepy, toward the end. But he plays a key role, and I think without Clancy, a lot of the things, A, wouldn't happen, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but, you know, without an antagonist, the story cannot move forward because there's no problem or roadblock to get by. Plus, Clancy he kind of helps with Ruby's character development. Because some of the things that he says to her messes with her a lot, but at the same time it also gives her the chance to think about it. And she realizes, wait a minute, he's kind of right, but mostly wrong. And I guess that's good for her. And I will move on now, since it's 17 minutes. Never Fade, the second book. The book that will also break your heart at the end, because just feelings. Non-spoilery part first. Which I'm pretty sure anybody that hasn't read the series has either already left or doesn't even want to read it now because they're spoiled of it. But anyway. Never Fade, like I said, it's the second book, and at the end of The Darkest Minds, spoiler, I'm gonna put that in a box, put it over there, Ruby and Liam separate, is all I'm gonna say. They get separated. And she ends up helping the Children's League. And there she meets 3 new Psy and an old friend, the friend that helped her escape from Thurman in The Darkest Minds, and she helps them on these operations, and she's also planning to kind of use them, but to free the camps. Free Thurman, free Blackrock, free Oasis, free, actually, Caledonia, I believe, is already freed. But anyway, you know, to free the kids in camps. And she meets Cole Stewart, who is Liam's older brother, and she realizes by going into his memory, because they need information from him on an operation, she realizes that Liam has gotten himself involved and has taken information that the Children's League needs in order to move forward with their freeing plan. Behind the scenes, there's also people who are trying to turn the Children's League against the children and use them as actual weapons, like living, walking bombs into the camps to set the kids free. Which, honestly, I don't really see the end game, because you're killing a kid to free even more kids, but that is not your plan. Their plan is ultimately to show that President Gray sucks as a president. And, trying to show the truth of the camps, which is supposed to be for the kids' benefit, but I guess maybe it's also to help the economy by getting a new president. I don't even know. Ramblings. But so she goes after Liam and ends up running into Chubbs. So it's Ruby Vida, who is this sassy, like, maybe not even sassy, but she's like this hot-tempered badass of a girl who's like the ultimate soldier, and her soft spot is literally for one person, and that is Kate, who is the woman that saved Ruby from Thurmond and is the leader of their group. Then there's also Jude, who is the sweetheart of the group, who looks for the kindness in everybody and is kind of a klutz, and he makes a lot of mistakes, but you can't help but love him just so much. There's also Nico, who doesn't go on this trip. He's left at headquarters and plays like a larger part toward the end, but he's a green. Vida's blue, Jude is yellow. So they go looking for Liam. She runs into Chubbs, and Chubbs kind of joins their little crusade. And they go looking for Liam. And in this book, they go to a different East River that isn't the actual East River, but they're claiming it is. And there's this jerk who's pretending to be the Skip Kid, who's actually a blue. And it's like a tribe of blues. And there's other colors there, but they either live outside or they're their slaves. And they like don't get any food, they don't get any warmth, and they're slowly shriveling into skeletons. It's really sad. So Ruby and her gang, as usual, try to help these kids, and also they find Liam there, who is like on the brink of death because of, I think, pneumonia is what Chubb said. So they have to help the kids and help Liam by breaking into this airport hangar thing that ends up having like a whole bunch of medical supplies and food and other supplies that they try to bring back to East River. Yeah, that's about as far as I can get without doing too much to it. Vida is like Chubbs. She's another character that kind of grows on you. At first you're like, you're just being a jerk to be a jerk. A bag just fell over. I don't know if you could hear that, but that's what that is. You know, not being a jerk to be a jerk. Sorry, I say a lot. She grows on you, like I said, and then you just absolutely love Jude. And then the end of the book breaks your heart. And I'm going to put that in a little spoiler box and put it over here because I don't even want to say it. Not even to the people that have already read it, because it hurts. It's just awful. Yeah, so, in the Afterlight, the third book. The third book in the series, the gang is all back together, completely, totally. But the Children's League headquarters has been bombed. So they're kind of trying to get out of LA, where the headquarters was, and trying to go to a place called the Ranch. Eventually they do get there, and then there are agents of the Children's League that were actually plotting to turn the children in for money. And they kind of sent them away using Ruby's mind control to the headquarters in Kansas, and kind of separated themselves from the Children's League entirely in a way. And there's still Cole, there's Kate, and there's a couple other people that want to help. And they're trying to continue with their plan to free the camps. But Liam has qualms about how. He feels they should use information to close the camps, while Ruby and Cole and Vida want to use not necessarily violence, but they want to break in and tear it down from the inside to get these kids out. And there's a lot of going behind backs and keeping secrets, and like the group is slowly kind of falling apart, which is in its own way heartbreaking. Not to mention Clancy's there. He's behind the scenes of everything. And the Infernal Devices, I don't even know where that came from. And in the Afterlight, they know a little bit, or they have gathered information about the cause of Ian, and they're hoping to get the information that they need to find the cure, which isn't exactly what they expect. And so The book, I can understand if some people find it boring, because there's a lot of emotional action going on, but not a lot of, like, action. So, you know, people who are reading In the Afterlight might be like, oh, this is really boring. But it's a lot of character development, really. There's a lot of emotion going along. There's a lot of emotion. There's a little bit of backstory. You kind of see Cole and Ruby kind of grow closer together, not in a relationship. Thank heaven. I was like, excuse me, we escaped a love triangle in the first book and in the second book. Let there not be a love triangle in the third book, because everybody is tired of love triangles. I do really enjoy the way Alexandra Bracken writes friends, because every single one of her friends is like a platonic love. She loves them, but the only person she loves romantically is Liam. And I really do enjoy the way that she writes friends, because, like I said, it's platonic, and it's really how we should depend on our friends, and how, you know, we're support for them and they're support for us. Not having one of them would be like losing an arm and a leg. That's how we should have friends. And a lot of people probably use their friends and then kind of toss them away, which is sad, but that's not the point of my little spiel here. So I love how she connects these kids so deeply that they're like a part of each other. They're a group, they're a team, and it can't function with just like 5 of them and like 2 of them over here. And I really enjoy that part of the series. There's also a lot more traveling in every single one of these books, but it's located on the west and the east, not so much in the middle, but there is travel in the middle. You know, you go from Virginia to the LA-ish area and then back out to the Virginia. Actually, I think they're in North Carolina area. And then in Neverfade, I don't remember where they are. I want to say Nevada. But, so there's travel. So if you really like travel, a lot of it is traveling. The Darkest Minds is, like the first book, not the series itself, is very much like a road trip in like an apocalyptic world. No, and well, yes, but it's in a dystopian world. So if you like road trips, there you go. If you like kids with powers, if you like good friendships, if you like one pairing romance, meaning no love triangle, like Love Line, it's just 2 people, an actual couple, then this is good for you. If you like dystopias, definitely good for you. And then before I finish, I'm going to do one more. These are novellas, so I'm not going to dive too deep into them. I'm just going to give a brief rundown of what they are, who's in them. So the first one is, if I can get it open, In Time. And this one is about Suzume, who actually, at East River, breaks away from Chubbs, Ruby, and Liam, and goes with her cousin Hina to find her uncle with another group of kids. Like, they're only allowed to break off from East River in groups. So in The Darkest Minds, the first book, not the series, she separates from them. And In Time talks about her journey between a certain point where they get in a car accident after being chased by skip tracers, which are people that capture kids for money and have the kids put back into camps. So they're being chased by skip tracers. They got into an accident. One of the kids ends up dying in that accident. And Suzume gets saved by another kid who's not really a kid. He's actually more of an adult, but he's like a young adult. And he helps her get out of the car, but his plan is to take her in for money. He's to be a skip tracer. But he just can't do it. So instead, he helps her get to California. And the ending sucks, I will tell you that. And I'm not saying it sucks like poorly written. Sucks as in, ow, my heart, again. She's always doing that. What's that? Then the second one is Sparks Rise. This is about Samantha, or Sam, who is in The Darkest Minds, the first book. She is one of Ruby's cabin mates, and for years is her best friend until Ruby loses control of her powers and ends up erasing Sam's memories of her, so they're no longer best friends. In this book, it talks about her and how the Reds come to be kind of like backup soldiers for the camp, and she sees someone from her past, which was her best friend Lucas, and he's trying to help her plot to get out of the camp. And at one point she gets put in this secluded area and gets bit by a snake, and he gets caught, and they kind of torture him until he hides so far in his mind he can't get back out again. So he's just this mindless soldier. So, you know, heart yanking again. Then the last one, like I said, is Beyond the Night. And that one is about Sam, Lucas, and his sister Mia, or Maya. And the others kind of come in a little bit later, but it's them trying to help Lucas find himself again. And it talks about their past, and this place called Greenwood, which is like their childhood secret garden in a way. And he, you know, used to tell them stories and then make up stories and games based on it, and they're trying to use that to get him to come back out. And this one, I will tell you, actually ends happily. So, thumbs up, we're good. No more heartbreak in Beyond the Night. But it's still pretty intense. And one thing that I will point out before I end my video is there's something that Alexandra Bracken does that I have not seen with any other author, which I wish was her signature, but it's not going to be, not with the fact that it's Passenger Wayfarer, and I don't know what the third one is. Or if there's a third one, I'm pretty sure there is. The Darkest Minds and all of the novellas complete a sentence. The darkest minds never fade in the afterlight. And then this one's kind of more wordy and less straight on the titles. But it is, if I can find the darn thing. Okay. We will move forward as one, and in time, rise like sparks beyond the night. Yes. I don't know why the book itself is called Through the Dark, because it wouldn't be The Darkest Minds Never Fade in the Afterlight Through the Dark, because that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But it's still a very amazing series, and it's one that I hold very near and dear to my heart, and I do greatly recommend it for everyone that is into dystopias, into a romance that is not a love triangle. I don't know what like a normal romance in a book would be called besides just romance. Kids with powers, road trips, and classic rock. I believe classic rock references. So if you like those things, feel free to check them out. They are definitely recommended by me. I did a read-along. If you didn't see that video, I will put that down there probably. And it was good at the beginning, and then I went on vacation and I got stuck in Colorado, and then it just kind of went because I lost track of the days and I didn't post when I needed to, and not everybody followed all the way through, which is not a thing on them because it's totally fine. But this is my series discussion. I know it's not really much of a discussion. It's really just me explaining the books and talking a little bit about what I liked about them. But thank you for sticking with me if you stayed the entire 30-something minutes. 35 looks like what it's going to be. And I hope you guys stick around and watch my bookshelf makeover, which is really just me rearranging and sorting things out and putting lights on it. I thought about putting something in the back, but with all the books I have, you wouldn't be able to see it anyway. So I will see you guys next time. I am planning on doing a video for this Wednesday. I don't know for a fact, though, because I need 5 books that have beautiful covers, but were disappointing in plot. I have 2, I think. Maybe. But I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching, and, yeah, bye.